Okay, I think the recording has also started. So let's quickly go through the assignments. So the data below is the employee data for BGS Group. The data was extracted from the software used by the human resource team. As an Excel user, help the HR team clean this data by following the steps below. The data is supposed to have 7 different columns with the following headers: employee ID, employee name, department, gender, the age, hiring dates, and monthly salary, respectively. It has also been observed that the data for each column has been separated with is it semicolon or whatever the name is. So the first question is group the data under the above headers. Group the data under the above headers. Is anyone here who can help us out? No, I think I need to call names because I marked the first session of the assignment. I marked most of you. Is anyone here who can help us? Albert, yes. Albert, go ahead.
Okay. So we can select the first column by holding Control and Shift and then down arrow. And then we move to data. And then at data, we convert it, yes, text to column on the text to column on the, I think, last but two tab.
Last but two tabs. Is it data tools?
Yes.
Go to test
data tools. Yeah,
okay.
Under data tools. Yes.
Okay.
So you can click that.
Okay.
Please have you clicked that? Yeah, text to columns.
Okay.
Why is here showing something different? So I think choose the first.
That is delimited.
Yes, delimited.
Okay.
And then a minute. Please, your process is quite different. I mean, like.
Okay, then let's go to next. And then what is the delimiter we are talking about?
So semicolon, and then I think there's also a comma.
Okay. So there is a comma, and then there is other, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then it will give you a preview down here for you to see how it's going to look like. And then we can finish up, and then quickly it is going to group it for us as simple as ABC. So please, those I think this is a fantastic idea about how to go around it. Is there any question at this point? Ifwa Saki.
Sir, please, I didn't see the function you were using. Like, I could just see you highlight the cells, but I didn't see the function you were using.
Okay. So let's quickly go. Albert, let's quickly go through again. So Control Z, back to default. Now you realize that. Let me zoom in a little. Okay, so you realize that when I click in column B, there is nothing in the formula bar. When I click in C, there's nothing in the formula bar. When I click in A, that is where I see the entire data set. That means the data set was just entered in column A. Please, I hope you get it. So when I expand column A, you realize that it has quickly the the width has fit the entire text that is in column A. Why am I saying this? Sometimes, for those of you who did the copy and paste, when you're doing the copy and paste, you select A. Let's go back. You select A, B, C, D, E to J. Then you copy, and then you make sure you come and paste. Now, when you're pasting, it will give you this warning. You can't paste this here because the copy area and paste area are in the same. Please, I hope you get it. So the data set is only in A. It has nothing to do with B, C, or D. So whilst I'm in A, I can just copy the data sets by using Control-Shift-Down arrow to select the entire data. And now Albert gave us a very nice idea that we should go to data, and under data, there is an option called under data tools called text to column. Now under text to column, when you click on text to column, an option or a pop-up is going to come out. Now this is a wizard in Microsoft Excel that helps you to do data cleaning with ease, without any formula, without anything to do with you struggling. So when you click on this text to column, a pop-up comes out that tells you to choose the file type that best describes your data. In other words, how is your data set being separated? Is it being separated with a delimiter or a fixed width? Please, I hope you understand. When I say a fixed, so it has given us a breakdown here. Fields are aligned in column with spaces between each field.
Sir, please, sorry. Sir, the pop-up is not showing.
Wow, today.
Yes, sir, please. It never should since day one.
Wow, and you guys never said anything. Okay.
Yeah, that's never seen.
Wow. Okay. So let's do it like this. Since it doesn't show since day one, I don't know how best we can. Okay, so let's do it like this. I'll do a note around that area and then share with you, because I don't know how best I can show that to you right now. Because if it is not showing, I don't know how best I can do that. Or anyone has any idea about how to do that?
Sir, please don't share your one window. Share your entire.
I should share my entire screen. Fantastic, fantastic. So let's do it that way. Okay. So is this okay?
Yes.
Is it better now? Okay, so let's quickly go through this again. So as I was saying earlier, the test is in only column A. It has nothing to do with B, C, D, or E. So in column A19, you can do Control-Shift-Down arrow to select the data set. Now, Excel has a built-in wizard called the text to columns, and it is found under data. When you go to data, under data tools, you see text to columns. Now, when you click on it, a pop-up is going to appear. Please, do you see the pop-up now?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic. So this pop-up is asking you how your data set looks like and how do you intend to separate or clean them. So it says, when you read here, it says choose the file type that best describes your data. Now you realize that our data set is being separated by delimiters. So you realize that in the question they were saying it has been observed that the data sets were separated by a semicolon. So we are going to choose the delimiter and then we go to next. Now, next is asking us what kind of delimiter is your data set being separated by? So the screen lets you set the delimiter your data contains. So which delimiters are we talking about? We are talking about commas, that is for, so you realize that under the names here, Zoe, comma, Jackson. So it's being separated by comma, but the rest of them are being separated by semicolons. So we can just ignore the commas because the question didn't tell us to separate both data at this point. You realize that the next question says we should further divide the first name from the second name. So we haven't gotten there yet. So we can just go to others and then put the sign there, semicolon. So immediately you do that, the Excel wizard is quickly going to give you a preview down here of how the data set is going to look like. So if you check and you don't want your data set to look like that, then you advise yourself. Now you realize that the last two columns, which is supposed to be the date and the monthly salary, when you check under the preview, they are separated by a comma. That is because when you check under the, or when you check in the formula bar, they are separated by a comma. So, and we know that if we add commas to our delimiter, that is going to separate the first name from the second name, which we haven't been asked to do so. So what we can advise ourselves to do is we do this one after the other. So we first separate with a semicolon, and now we can quickly click on finish. So when you click on finish, it is going to separate the various names, the various, how do we call it? The initial test you had is going to be separated into the various fields. However, the first name and the second name is still together. And then the last two columns, that is supposed to be the dates and the hiring dates, and then the total salary. It's also going to be together because they are being separated by a comma. So how do we separate, or how do we go ahead to separate these ones? So first of all, we can, please, any idea at this point at all, because we are doing this together. Matthias, I would really like to hear your voice because I've never heard you speaking in class, but you were our Hall of Famer for today. Any idea of how to do that? Any idea? If no one is talking, we are still here. Please go ahead. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead. Help us out on how to separate this last two. Now, before you talk, let's talk about this first. You realize that the data set is supposed to be divided into just two. 30,968 is one part, and then 159,067 is going to be another part. The first part is going to be hiring dates, and then the next one is going to be the monthly salary. So how do we separate this? Because if we go ahead and separate using the comma, it is going to divide our test into the first part, which is 3, the second part, which is 968, the third part, which is 159, and the last part, which is 067. So how do we, what's the best way of separating this? Anyone?
Okay, so hello.
Yes. I can't mention your name because I can't go back to the classroom and check your names. So please, if you have an idea, just speak and let's go.
All right, Solomon. So I actually selected both the semicolons and
the comma.
So so it's perfectly separated the hiring date and the monthly salary, and it also happens separate the first name from the last name, but I came back to concatenate with the delimiter for the first and the second name, leaving the
Yes. Okay.
monthly salary separated.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a very bright idea. So for those of us who are lost, or for those of us who didn't understand anything, what Solomon tends to see is, let's go back, please. We are trying as much as possible for you guys to understand the table concept, because one way or the other, if you want to go into Excel, you need it. And I realized that most of us weren't able to submit the assignment, probably because we didn't understand. And we are taking our time to go through this. And then, mind you, we are going to, after this class, there's going to be a break. Jonathan McNeils is going to talk about that after the class because of the Christmas holidays and all that. So our next class is going to be somewhere in January. So there's going to be a loaded assignment for this period. And please, try as much as possible to get your hands dirty and then make it happen. If you watch the videos and you don't understand anything, please go online, check it out. There are so many options, so many ways of getting the work done out there. I never taught you guys how to use the test columns, but someone figured it out. So please, there's so many ways of getting around it. So let's get our hands dirty when it comes to Excel. That's the only way we are going to better the skill. All right. So what our brother was saying is that you highlight the data. Under data, under data tools, there is test column. When I click on test column, he's saying with a delimiter, we should select both comma and then the semicolon. Now it is going to separate the hiring dates from the salaries. It is going to separate the first names from the last names. So for us, because the question at that point didn't ask us to separate the first name from the last name, he created a column next to it and used a function called concatenate. I think we've talked about this. So concatenate will help you to join two separate columns together. So using the concatenate, he selected the first one, comma, and then he brought the second one. And then what he did was, no, I think I'm doing a mistake. Solomon, please help us with the concatenate and let's go ahead. Because today we are doing the assignment together.
All right, sir. So I selected cell B19.
B19.
No, sir. Sorry. So I actually type the inverted commas, right? So concatenate, then you open brackets.
So concatenate. I open brackets.
Yes. Then you type the inverted commas, then comma.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Then comma. Then close it. Yes. Then you select cell B19.
Do I bring a comma again, or I just select cell B19?
You'll bring a comma again.
Okay.
Yes, please. Then you select cell
B19.
Then you would bring a comma. Then cell C19.
C19.
And close the bracket.
I close my bracket, then enter. Now, what do we see here? Any other person? What do you see here?
Sir, it's not going to work that way because he started with the delimiter.
So I started with...
Yes, the delimiter is supposed to come after the Zoe.
Okay.
That is the first name. Fantastic. So, Solo, I think we need to start with the first name.
Yes.
And then we bring the delimiter somewhere in the middle. And then we bring the last name. So that when we press enter, it is going to separate the first name and the second name using a comma. Please, I hope that is fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we can quickly click on the the corner, the down corner here, we double click on it for it to apply the formula to the rest of our data set. So that means this has been added to this using the comma. Now we need to take this and this out because the data set hasn't asked us to do that. So how are we going to take it out? Any person, any other person? Ethel, how do you think we should do that? We want to take the first and then the second name out. We want to take the first and the second name out. So how do we do that? Anyone?
Okay, so you
Hello
can
there.
just select
But why are we
both
taking
cells,
it out?
then you right
Hello
click.
there.
Yes, someone is asking a question. Yeah, I'm
Please,
listening.
why are we taking
Please,
it
I have a
out?
question.
Okay, so please one after the other. The first question is, why are we taking it out? So
Yeah,
the question
because
at this point hasn't asked us to separate the first name from the second name. Please, do you understand? So we are only trying to go according to the question. If I leave this, the first name, the second name, and I leave this one out at the first point, I'm making a mistake because the question hasn't told me to do that yet. Please, I hope you understand. Because the question here is, the first question is group the data under the above headers. The second part was what was telling us to further divide the employee name column into first and then second name. Please, I hope you understand. So at this point, we haven't been told to move on to the next point. So we are going to follow in that order. Please, I hope it's fine.
I'm good. I'm good.
Fantastic. Please, someone was helping us out.
Sir, it was the same question I wanted to ask.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So someone was helping us out on how to take these ones out and then maintain this one.
Yeah, so you can just highlight the cells, then you right click.
I should highlight which cell, this one.
Yeah, B and C together, or just B.
Okay, I should highlight the entire data set.
Yes, please. You
Okay.
right click,
I right click
insert.
and then insert.
I
Am I
think
shifting
delete
to
column.
Am I shifting to left or to right? Because this is what I did. This is the pop-up that came when I
So
inserted. We can't hear you clearly.
you can just use the control dash so that it will
Control
delete that
dash.
column. Yes, I find.
Control hyphen and then delete.
Yes.
So if I click on OK, I realize that it's giving us a ref error here. Why do you think it's giving us a ref error?
Because we use the formula concatenate.
Good. So this particular formula both is based on B19 and C19. So when you check on this formula, you realize there's B19 and C19. So how best do you think we can take both column C and B and C out without affecting?
You said then you have to use flash fill. So you type in the name and then you flash fill with that. It wouldn't affect both columns.
Okay, we use flash fill to do instead of the concatenate, we should use flash fill to bring both B19 and C19 together. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Sir.
Okay, so that is one way of doing it. Please, anyone else?
Sir.
Yes.
Sir. I also suggest you copy what we've already done, the concatenate one.
Okay.
And then you delete it. After deleting it, and you paste it just the value without the formatting.
Without the formatting. Okay, so let's do that. So Control Shift down arrow, Control C to copy, and then we move to, let's say, the B. Control Alt V for paste special. Now when we are pasting, we are only pasting values, so V. And then we can click on OK. And from here, we can go ahead and delete C and D. This is what you were saying, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. So because we copied the formulated one, and then we pasted as values. You remember I said anytime you paste as values, it does away with all formula works in it. It doesn't depend on any other cell. It becomes independent. So please, if you have a situation like what we just faced, and then you want to take one of the dependent formulas out, please make sure you copy the entire thing and paste as values before you go ahead to do anything you want to do. Please, I hope that's fine. Anyone? I hope that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So at this point, that is one way of we cleaning our data. Please, I want somebody else to take us through another way of doing it. What's it? Check if there is more time. 17. That means we have 53 minutes more. So,
Sir,
is there any other way of doing this? Yes.
mine will also bring us to where we had that pop-up after clicking on the data to column. But this is how I did it. After copying the assignments and I open my notepad on the laptop, I paste the entire data there, and I save it on the desktop. I open Excel, and then the backstage, I went to open. So I want to open, and I selected the file on the desktop, and it gave me that pop-up option there to separate them with the delimiter and then the column, those stuff. And I had it nicely separated.
Okay. Okay. I think you also have a point. But you were saying you copied the data set and then pasted it in your notepad. I think with this, you can quickly go ahead and then download the file. I don't know if you know how to do that, but let's quickly do that. So we come to our assignments. Sorry, Matthias, I had to open yours because she did a great job. So we come to our assignments. So quickly come to assignments. And then when you open the assignment, instructions, let's go quickly to the instructions. Sorry, you're seeing what you're seeing, but you're not supposed to see this. Okay, so quickly open the assignments. Okay, so it's supposed to pop up. These are some of the issues when you're working with Excel on the internet. It turns into Google Sheets. So at this point, I'm dealing with Google Sheets rather than on my normal Excel. So if I want to work with Excel, I need to download it. How do I do that? This three dots here gives me more options. I open a new window. So when I open in a new window, it appears in a fresh window where I'm going to see another 3 dots. And this time around, I'm seeing download option here. So I can quickly download the entire assignment, let's say on my desktop, and I save it. It's going to be on my desktop, and I can quickly go there and do any changes I want to do. So you don't necessarily have to copy the data set one by one. It's so epic. So I hope this helps. So yes, he was talking about another way of getting it done. Some people were saying, oh, I'm trying to use flash fill and it's not working. I want you guys to be able to use flash fill to the fullest, because that is one way of beating time if you want to work with Excel. Because flash fill helps you to, it follows a pattern, and then it helps you to cut down on time. So let's try and use flash fill to arrive at the same conclusion. So quickly Control Z, Control Z, Control Z for us to get to the source data. Okay. So Yes, we want to use flash fill. Who is going to help us here? Oh, you are saying I'm on my own. Who is going to help us here using the flash fill? Okay, I think at this point I'm on my own. So flash fill, as I said earlier, follows a particular pattern and then applies it to the rest of the data set. So you can use the flash fill instead of test before, instead of test after, instead of concatenate. So you realize that I have mentioned 3 formulas and there are even more. You can use a flash fill in place of all those formulas. And that should tell you how important flash fill is in the life of an Excel user. So anytime you want to follow a pattern to do something, you have a data set and it's in a particular pattern, you want to separate it or you want to do something with it in another pattern or in another way, quickly try and then use Excel functions if you are down with formulas. If you don't have formulas in mind, go ahead and then use Excel, how do you call it? Flash fill. So how do you go by that? First of all, you need to tell Excel that this is the format I want to use. So let's try, let's say 3 lines of these data sets. So the first one, E01848. Then move to the next tab, and then we type Zoe Jackson. Sorry. Jackson. And then human resource. And then female. Then we come to the age, which is 46. Then we move to the hiring date. That is 39681. Move on to the next one, 59067. Now let's try the next line, E0. Remember, we want to tell Excel that this is the pattern we want it to follow. So you have to repeat the same function for like 3 or 4 times so that Excel can then pick the format you are using and apply it to the rest of your data. Female 61 40092 and 103096. Okay, and then let's apply it to the last but one, E04817 Z0E, Sanchez Fountain email 3 and then 38344902212. Now, when I try to use the flash fill, it says that we looked at all the data next to your selection and didn't see a pattern for filling in values for you. So I should tell you that still, Excel is still not seeing the, how do we call it? The pattern in it. So I need to go ahead and then probably try my hands on more of them. So let's do one in addition. E0.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Please, can you go over the short key for the flash fill?
Okay, so the shortcut is Control E.
Okay,
Control
sir,
plus E for flash fill. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So Z0E and then Romero. Okay. IT female 2 44474 and 88072. Excel is still telling me the same story. So we need to make sure that one thing you need to be careful about, or one thing you need to be checking out, is to make sure that you are not doing any mistake when it comes to how you are typing. So you need to go through and make sure that there is nothing wrong or there is no mistake in the format in which you are using. So the first one, E01848, Zoe Jackson.
Hello, sir.
Yes, I'm listening.
Please, I think when I was doing mine, if the data you are trying to separate is not closed, I don't know how to say, but you see there's a cell that separates this data from where you are typing the separation.
Yes.
I think if
Yes.
maybe the 8 isn't there and
Okay.
we try the flash for it might work, because I think that's what happened when I was trying mine.
So it should be close. That's what you're saying.
Yes, please, very close, like
Okay.
immediate close.
Okay. Okay. So that is also another option you can consider. And then, but mind you, the data
I
set is
think
in
you
just
omitted
a
S from the human resources too.
human resources. Fantastic. Fantastic. And then it is still giving me the same how do you call it? It's telling me that there's not seeing the format that I'm using. So we still have
Okay.
to go through, yes.
Yes, and I remember you see you said the
Mhm.
data is in column A. So
It's in column
before I
A.
did mine, yes, I opened column A so that all the data would be in it. Then I started
Okay.
copying, like doing the flash over from column B.
From
That's
column
where it
B.
worked.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So let's now go ahead and then see if FlashFill is going to work. It is still giving us the same problem. So are we concluding that FlashFill won't work in this instance?
So there's still a gap.
There's still a gap.
No, sir, it
Yes.
can work.
There's still a gap. There is columns B and
Can
C.
work.
There's B and C, so we should make sure. Okay. So we are still trying our hands on it. So if it works, we will see. If it doesn't, we will see. So can we try it here and see? So now it has populated the employee IDs for us. Let's go to the next one, Control E. It has populated the names for us. Let's go to the next one, Control E. It has populated the department for us. Let's go to the next one, Control E. It has populated the gender for us. Let's go to the next one, Control E. It has populated the age for us. The next one, Control E, it has populated what? The hiring date. And then the next one has populated the monthly salary. So Excel flash fill wants a particular pattern. It wants to follow a pattern. So you need to give it the pattern for it to follow. Now, how wide your data set is going to be from the original data also influences the decision of Excel flash fill. As I was doing initially, the wider it was, I had to do more examples for Excel to figure out what I was trying to do. And because I brought it closer, it was able to figure it out easily. Please, I hope we understand. So that is how unique Excel flash fill is. And it makes work very, very, very easy. I hope you are fine at this stage.
Yes, please, but please, Proxy has had his hand on since, so I know.
Oh, as I said earlier, I'm not able to view our home screen unless I go back. So please, Proxy, please let's hear you. Hello, Proxy. Okay, I think there's a bit of challenge with reaching Proxy Brenda. So anytime she's active, I think we can go back to a question. So yes, as I was saying, that is that about grouping your data. And then remember, it gave us column headers for the various columns. So the first one was employee. First one was employee ID.
Hello, sir.
The next one was, yes.
Please, before you type the employee ID, you see initially when you're doing it,
Okay.
it was appearing at the formula bar. Can you please tell us what you did before it appeared in the cell?
It was appearing in the formula bar. Okay, so what happened initially was, okay, so I saw what I did, but I don't know if the others saw it. So initially, I double-clicked in a cell. Now, when you double-click in the cell and you type, all these functions, or you can see that all the various ribbons under home has been hidden. So that is why I had to escape or come out of it and then try and then do my typing again. I hope you understand.
Yes, please.
Yes. So if I double click in it, it automatically hides everything. And then the color was also white, I think. So I needed to change everything back to black. I think it was red. Yes. So I needed to change it back. So employee ID, employee name, I suppose, yeah. Okay, so it's still happening again. So department is the department here. And then gender, age, the hiring date, and then monthly salary. Okay. Please pardon the arrangement. I think we just want to understand how to go by the work, so we can consider the arrangements in another time. So the first set of questions has been completed. So let's move on to the next one, which is saying we should go ahead and group or further divide the employee name column into first and second name. So how do we go by that? Anyone with an idea of how to go by that? You want to separate the names into first and then second name.
Okay, so you insert a new column.
Okay.
Okay, so you can just go with the flash where
Let's do
you
this
type.
first name,
Yeah.
second name. And then you said we should type, right?
Yes,
so,
please.
so we, then the next one, Jackson. Then we go SOE, ZHOU. And then from here, you can do the Control E, Control E.
Kindly go back to how you started.
Hello, please repeat the question.
She said, how you
column.
have
She was
a new
asking how
column.
you started the new column. Go back to how you've inserted the new
If I get your
column.
question correctly, you are asking how I inserted a new column. Okay. All right. So inserting a new column, if I want to insert a new column before the department, in other words, I want to bring a column between employee name and department, I have to be select when I hover around on top of the column header or the column name, it turns into a black drop down arrow. And then when I click, it highlights the entire column. So not just the data set, but it highlights the entire column to the last part. Please, I hope you are seeing. So when I right click and I go to insert, it inserts a new column for me. Please, I hope this is fine. So when I do that again, it inserts another one. If I do that again, it inserts another one. So that is how to insert a column. If I want to insert a row, I come here quickly. I insert, I right click, and then first of all, you make sure that the entire row has been selected. I right click and click on insert, and then it does it for me. So that is how to go about it. Please, I hope that is fine.
Yes, sir. I've practiced here and it is working. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. So yes, we are supposed to group this into first name and then second name. Okay, so we started typing Zoe, Jackson. Yes.
Please, I have a question.
Okay, let your question flow.
So far, I understood whatever we did, but the problem I have is with regards to the first question.
The first question. Okay.
The instruction that we have, they said let me see which one is that. Before the question number 1, it said it has also been observed the data for each column has been separated by a semicolon, sorry.
Yes.
But you see the hiring date and the monthly salary, it has been separated by a column. So if we also select the comma as a delimiter, it
Okay.
makes the instruction there not valid. But
okay.
I don't know whether it's a mistake.
Okay. I think honestly, I didn't take note of that. I'm just seeing it, and I realized that I think that's going to be a mistake. So it's supposed to be a semicolon throughout.
Okay,
yes, it's supposed to be a semicolon throughout. But yes, and then there was another. Someone also drew my attention to the activity 2, the bonus scheme. Yes, for this amount, I think it's supposed to be 50,000, but well, the idea around it is you being able to apply the formula to arrive at the destination. So in the marking, I am not really looking at how if your answer is correct or not. In fact, someone would have even gone through the stress of typing all of this just to get the answer. I'm not interested in that. What I'm interested in is you being able to work around it. Please, I hope you understand. Not just you arriving at the answer, but working around it is enough. So I intentionally give you a lot of data so that you can't be going through them one after the other. So that you have to find another way of getting around it. That is how you become good at Excel. Finding ways around anything. And I bet you there are a lot of things you haven't even thought of that Excel is able to do. So small, we will get there. I think this is Excel for productivity, the basic kind of Excel you can ever get. And if you want to better your skill, I think you need to go in more. There are a lot of stuff we need to work on. And even the basic ones, let's push this at the end of the lectures, because I want us to discuss how best we want to end the class. Should we work on a project, or do you think we should go on and learn new things? That will depend on you. So let's finish this assignment and then we'll talk about that at the end of the lecture. Okay, so we were done with the first one, we were on the second one. Further divide the employee name colon into first name and then last name. I think we've done that. So we can quickly take this out because it has been divided into first and second name. And then the last one is saying use border lines to make your data set readable. So we talked about border lines. Use Control Shifts to select the data set and then Alt HBA. Use border lines, simple as ABC. So imagine your boss is standing right behind you and you are using keyboard shortcuts, Alt HBA, and you realize that border lines has been applied. I think with that, you can even get a tap on your back or a raise in salary. You understand? So the more you use the Alt, or the more you use your keyboard in arriving at solutions, you become familiar with most of the shortcuts in Excel. So try as much as possible to be using them more often. So Alt, when you want to be on the home page, yes.
Please, if you have a data set and then you want to increase the column width for all the columns without doing it individually, how do you do that?
Okay, so I have a data set. Let me see. Let's quickly copy this one to the next one, and then okay, so it looks a bit clumsy here, and we want to expand this. We want it to fill. We want to see each and every column in full, or every cell in full. We don't want to see some text hidden, like here, for instance, human resources. But we are seeing human, and we don't even see the R. So if you want to space out this test with ease, all you can do is drop when you stand here, your Excel mouse or pointer turns into a solid cross, as you can see here. Let me zoom in. So when I stand here, it turns into a cross. When I click on it, it highlights everything in the sheet. And when I come here and I double click, it expands it for me, not evenly throughout, because you can't expect, you don't want your data sets, let's say, age like this, it's very small. You don't expect age to have the same size as your department's name, no. So when you do that, Excel is going to use its own discretion to expand your data sets to make sure that all the tests in the various cells become visible. Please, I hope this answers your question.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I'll quickly display again. So when you come here, or you can quickly do Control A to select everything in the data sets. And then when between one column and the next one, there is a line between it. When you hover around the line, it turns into a plus, where when you double click, it does the magic for you. So that is how you expand your data sets if your data looks clumsy. All right. So we are still on activity 1. And then let's move on to our next question. Okay, use border lines to make, so we've done that. So we are done with activity 1. So let's quickly move on to activity 2. And let's paste down here. Someone asked the question on the pasting in A21, right? Pasting in A21. So if I stand here and then I paste, okay. So if I ask you to stand anywhere and do your pasting, when you stand there and you paste, it is going to, how do I say it? This is copy and paste. So anywhere you stand to paste, it is going to appear. The pasting method is going to appear. So if I ask you to stand in A21 to paste, and it is going to paste. If I ask you to stand in A6 and you paste, it is going to paste. So anywhere you are being told to do pasting, it is going to work. Please, I hope that is fine. So the question says you should stand in A28. So I'm in A28 and I paste.
Yeah, pasting 828. Please, can you kindly go back?
You want me to go back? Okay, so the first question is copy and paste the employee data for BGS group in cell A28. So all I need to do is stand in A28, right click, and then paste. And it is going to paste the values starting from A28. So when I say paste in A, or let's say paste in K6, I'm not saying all the data sets should be in K6. But what it means is that where you start pasting from should be from K6. So immediately you start the pasting method from K6, you realize that the employee name or the first header of your data set appears in this, the data that has been, the cell that has been prescribed for you.
Sir.
Please, I hope you understand. Yes.
Sir.
Yes.
This particular question was a bit confusing. I thought we were supposed to copy from the A26 in the activity 1 from A26. That's part of the whole data is where you're supposed to copy. When I read the question.
Oh, okay.
So the question was copy and paste the employee data for UGBS in the 28. So I thought we are supposed to copy from A28 downwards in the activity 1.
As you were saying, you thought you were supposed to copy from A28 downwards. So you are adding your own. Well, what it means is when you copy your employee data set from activity 1, just paste it, but the pasting should start from A28. That is actually what it meant. Yes. Please, I hope you are fine. Forget about what you did in the assignment, but I hope you are fine.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Please, I have a question.
All right. Yes, please. Let's listen to the question.
Please, concerning the activity 1, I realized
that
after the green box where you have to insert the headers.
Okay, this one.
When I was doing I realized that the row there was invisible. You can see what you typed in the formula bar, but it does not show.
You can see what you typed in the formula bar.
Yes,
but it does not show.
Yes.
But it does
so
not show
I had
here.
Yes, but I had to copy and paste the entire data downwards so that I could make use of the one at the top. But I want to know how can you make an invisible row visible?
An invincible row visible. I think
Yes.
This question is a bit confusing. One,
it's what you explained earlier.
Yes, if I change the color, right, to white, it literally becomes invincible.
Okay.
Yes, so I change it back to black or any visible color. Do I make sense here?
Yes, please.
Yes, so it is either that particular place has been painted white. So immediately you start typing there, it doesn't appear. I hope you get it. If not, well, there is a way you can also hide a data set. How do you hide? You can just select the entire data and then click on hide. You realize that it has been hidden from any other person. So you see that the only way you can see that this data set has been hidden is when you check on the column headers. It starts from B, C, but you know that on a normal it's supposed to start from A. So when sometimes in reporting or in doing analysis, there are some kind of data you don't want people to see. and you don't want it to be like you are deleting it from the data set because it is equally important. So all you do is just to hide it, or probably you've done some formula works that you don't want anyone to interfere with. So you hide it and then just show what you want to show to the people. That is another way of hiding it. So to unhide, you just go there the same way and then unhide. Oh, you just click in the data set, sorry, you select everything and then unhide. So it unhides anything in the data set that has been hidden. I hope you get it. That is one way of another thing called hide and unhide. But your question, I think probably the data sets or the range has been painted in white. The test color has been painted in white. So typing in it, you won't really see what you're typing until you change it to black. Please, I hope that's fine.
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. So we move on to next.
Hi.
Hello.
Emmanuel, please. I saw hiring dates in activity 1, but it
Okay.
looks like it's not showing as dates. I don't know if.
Fantastic. Okay, so I understand your question, and I think most people didn't get a trick. People kept asking me in the group, and I intentionally decided to ignore. So people went to the extent of messaging me and said they should find a way around it. So you remember, I think in our first class, we talked about data formatting. Yes, I think the same day we talked about conditional formatting, we talked about data formatting. So in data formatting, something like this, when I say monthly salary, I'm expecting you to make this look like salaries, not just figures. So you see, this is 59,067. There are supposed to be some comments. There are supposed to be some 0.00 for you to see that we are talking about money here and not just figures. So how do you do that? You need to use your data or test formatting. The same way applied to this. When I said I needed supposed to be a date, when I select the entire range, under numbers, I click on general, I am supposed to convert this into a date, either a short date or a long date, any of them. So when I click on it, Excel will convert the data sets into a date. Is this too difficult to do? So yes, this is what I was expecting from all of you. I think it's just a click. So you just select your data sets, and then, so I intentionally converted it into general. You understand? So and I've told you explicitly that this is supposed to be a date. So you don't bring the same value back to me. No, you're supposed to convert it into a date, so that I know that you understand what you are doing. The same thing applies to this, which you are supposed to, you can use this comma style. You realize that formats with 1,000 separator, that is what it does. So when I click on it, it is going to break the figures down into thousands so that reading becomes very easy. Others did a very brilliant work of adding the Ghana cedi sign. That's extremely brilliant. So yes, that is how to go about that. Please, I hope you are fine at this point. I hope you are fine. Okay. Is it if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask us, because today we are still on Excel tables. I want us to grasp it, and then yes, Proxy.
Please, kindly, let's go on question 2 on how to calculate the bonus, because we have to use the if function.
Okay.
And I'm not good at that.
Okay. Okay. So we will get there. We'll get there. Let's just follow the pattern and then get there as quickly as possible before time catches up with us. So Now we've converted this. Cancel. Okay, so let's move to activity 2. Our data set has been pasted here. Okay. Let's quickly convert this one into a short date, and let's convert this one into thousands of meter. Okay. So at this point, the next question is saying convert the data set into tables. So how do you do that? How do you convert your data set into table? Anyone?
You can stand anywhere.
You should select the whole data.
Okay. So let's first do this bold, and then we can stand anywhere and do Control T. And because our data set has headers, we check that my table has headers and a box, and then we click on OK. Our data set is going to be converted into a nice table that is separated with banded rows. So yeah, we can quickly go ahead and then probably change the style into any style you want. So I normally prefer the green, so it's because I'm the one doing the work. Please, let's go ahead with the green. This is okay. I think this is 5. So yeah, we've converted our data set into tables. So the next question is saying find the following: 1, total salary received in a month, and then the maximum age in the BGS employee data. Okay, so we can quickly do that by going down there and then doing our total, finding our total. But the quickest way to do that is anyone to help us with that? The quickest way to do that.
You select any of the cells in the table.
Okay.
Then go to the table design tab.
Okay.
Then you select total row. Yes.
Total row. Fantastic. So it's going to bring the total for the salaries. Total for the salaries. So we can as well go under the age because it was saying it needed the maximum age. Click and then choose max for it to bring out the maximum age for our data sets. So we are done with that 1 or 2, and then the next question is saying name the table BGS group. So how do we name our table?
You select a cell in the table.
You select Letitia. It looks like today you're doing all the talking. Where is Ethel? Sharon, Princess Aram. Okay. I think I need to be deducting and some of the marks from the assignments for these people. People won't talk in class. Matthias,
Okay,
you won't talk in class.
Talk?
Please talk and let's go on.
So you stand anywhere in the table.
Okay.
Then you go to table design.
Table design.
Where you have table name.
Table name.
Then you change the name that was given.
That was BGS_group.
Group, yeah.
That's the, let me press enter. So our data set has been converted to BGS group. Okay. And with the data set converted into a name like this, we can quickly call the name BGS group and even specify that we want monthly salaries. And it is going to complete it for us here. So that was, I think we worked on this somewhere last week. So yes, that is how to go by naming the data. Now our next and final question was about the Christmas bonus. Christmas bonus. And there was a bonus scheme that we need to follow to award the bonus for the various employees. So we want one good Samaritan to take us out. And first of all, I need to let me do mine out of it. So I need to create a column called bonus. And then, yes, we need a good Samaritan to take us through the formula.
Please,
Anyone?
can I?
Fantastic. Let's go.
Equal to if then you said open bracket, sorry.
Open my brackets.
Then you select the salary.
The salary
is greater than equal to 80,000, sorry.
80,000.
Comma. Open quotation.
20,000.
20,000. Please, won't you bring .00 so that it would look like it's
.00. Okay.
Yes, then comma.
Did I do it right? Do I have to close the?
Yes, please.
Okay. Then comma.
So comma.
Okay.
If.
Another if.
Yes.
Open bracket. Okay. End.
Then open bracket.
Open brackets.
Select the salary.
Select the salary.
It's greater than 50,000.
Is greater than 50,000. Mind you, I told you guys that it's supposed to be 50,000. But we did it 5,000. If you did it 5,000, that's fine. If you did it 50,000, that's fine. All I need is for you to apply a formula that will work. Please, I hope that is okay. So 50,000, please, let's go.
Comma. Select the salary.
Let's select the salary again.
Yes. Then less than.
Less than.
Equal to. 79,999.
79,999.
Close bracket.
Close brackets.
Comma. Open quotation.
13,000.00. 13,000.00.
Close quotation. Comma. If
function again.
Open bracket.
Okay.
Select salary.
Select salary.
Less than. Equal to. 49,999.
Okay. Listening.
Comma. Hello?
Okay. Yes, I'm listening.
Okay, then 5,000.00.
Okay.
Yes, then 3 brackets at the end.
Brackets at the end. And then now we can press enter, right?
Yes.
I wanted to do something else. Okay, enter.
No, please, that's all.
Okay, so let me check the name. What's the name? What's the name again? Is it Letitia?
Yes, please.
Okay, so Letitia has given us a way of going around it. So I think I the formula was inserted in a different column. So let me quickly delete this and do this bonus. Okay. Any question at this point? Letitia, please be on hold. Any question is coming to you. Albert, let me hear you.
I'd wanted to take us through, but I think she has done it. So
okay. So any question that comes, Albert and Letitia, please be on hold for that. Ethel.
Yes, I was wondering why we use three brackets at the end.
Okay, so that one will go to Albert. So Albert, Ethel is wondering why we are using three brackets at the end. So you will take that question for us. Felix, I saw your hands raised.
okay. So what I know is that when you have a lot of logic functions, the number of brackets you open is the number of brackets you close with. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay, so in practice, or if we want to practicalize what we did, you realize that the if functions, how many if? Let's count the ifs we have. So we have if 1, and then the brackets was opened. So we have 1. We have another if here, and then the brackets was opened. We have 2. And then we have another if here, and then the bracket was open. So we have 3. So you realize that we opened 3 if functions. So we need to close them according to the number of if functions we used. So because we used 3, we are closing them with 1, 2, 3 brackets. I hope that is fine.
Yes, please.
So in Excel, anytime you are typing a formula and then you open the brackets, if you open the brackets, this kind of formula is called a nested formula. So this is a nested if that has other if functions in it. So it's like a pregnant woman who has a baby in her stomach. So a nested if function. So it has the if function 1, and you realize that there is another function called we use here, that is the end. Now this end function was closed here. That is why we didn't have to add another bracket here. So if you use if and if or, there is a function like that, because we are treating the basic, I don't want us to stress ourselves in that angle. So there is a function like that, if and, if or, there is a whole lot of things you can do around that area. So if time permits us, we'll talk about that in one of our classes. But this is how to calculate the bonus for based on the bonus scheme we gave. Is there any question at this point? Any question?
Hello.
Yes.
I just wanted to add to the question that the lady asked about the bracket.
Okay. Okay.
So normally the last bracket that you have to close is the same as the first one that you open. So it's mostly black.
Okay.
So when you see that the last bracket is black, then you are confident that is the right thing you are doing.
Okay, thank you very much, Divine. So Divine was reminding us that the last bracket you are supposed to close is supposed to be in color black. So I'm trying to zoom in, but it's not. Okay. So the formulas here, you realize that the first bracket was blue, the second bracket was red, and the last bracket is black. So anytime you're closing a bracket and you realize it gets to black, then you will know that you are done with closing of the brackets. Please, I hope you are fine.
Sir, please, can you repeat that?
Okay, so Divine said that, or Divine reminded us that when you type a long Excel formula, you don't have to just necessarily go back and be counting the number of nested functions you used. No, you can start closing the brackets. And when you get to the last bracket, it is always in color black. The color of the last bracket is always black. So the first, you realize that, I wish I could zoom in here, but it's not working. The first one, or the first bracket we closed, was blue. The second bracket we closed was red. And the last bracket was black. So if you have, let's say, 10 nested functions in an if formula, when you're closing them, you realize that they will all be different colors until you get to the black. So immediately you get to the black one, you realize that, you should note that that is the final, or that is the last bracket you are supposed to close. So anytime you are closing the bracket and you get to the black, that should tell you that that's the final bracket you are supposed to close. Please, am I clear?
Yes, please. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So any question at this point? Proxy, are you okay? Because you wanted us to get to the last part so badly. Solomon, let's hear you.
Yes, sir. So please, I wanted to ask, to what extent can you have this nested functions? Is it just 3, or can I have 4 or 5?
So you can have a nested function for like 10 different scenarios. For example, with this one, with a market, with a bonus scheme, or let's say you are a teacher, you are grading your students. If you get above 80, you are getting an A. If you get between 70 to 80, you are getting a B. If you get between 60 to 70, C. 50 to 60, D, in that order. So you realize that the conditions there are more. There are more conditions. So based on the conditions, you can't say you are taking care of, let's say, close to 200 students, and you're going to be typing, looking at their grades and giving them their grades one after the other. No. So UGCS or the grading system in the university has something similar to this. So they will pick the grade you had, or the percentage you had, and then use that one to grade you. Do you understand? So it is based on the conditions that you have that you can decide on the number of nested functions you include in your formula. Please, I hope that is fine. So I don't want you to stress your head about this, because we are treating the basics. So enjoy the basics for now. And when you are okay with it, okay.
Sir, please, can you show the formula again?
Okay, so let's go to okay. So when you check the formula bar, our how do you call it? Our formula bar shows the formula.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so I'll save this file and then upload it on the Google Classroom portal so that you can have access to it. So you can download it and then go through in your leisure time. So I'll forward this one to the Google Classroom portal as well. Any other question at this point? Because our time is up and we need to quickly. Well, people are still joining. Any other questions? Moses, let's hear you.
Yeah, sir, is it okay if you use a different if function?
Fantastic. I like this idea.
Equal to
Let's
F.
have it here. So let's hear your function. Equal to
if, then with an S attached.
If's function. Fantastic. If's.
Then
so let's
So a logical test was the monthly salary.
Monthly salary.
Then
And mind
greater
you,
than
let me, Moses, let me chip this in. Instead of me coming to use my mouse to type monthly salary, you remember we said you can call out a column using the name that you use for the Excel, how do you call it? The Excel table. For example, BGS group. And a BGS group, we are talking about the salary, monthly salary. So I can use monthly salary. And then I can close my brackets. So in place of me coming to use my mouse to be clicking on monthly salary, I can use this formula or this particular strategy in place of monthly salary. Please, I hope we are all clear. Okay, Moses, let's move ahead with your formula. So you were saying monthly salary.
Okay, greater than or equal to 80,000.
Greater than or equal to 80,000.
Comma. Then I selected the amount in the
Selected
bonus
the
scheme.
amount in the bonus scheme.
That's
You don't like
20,000.
stress. That's fantastic. Okay, let's go ahead.
Then comma again.
Comma again.
So the logical test two, I selected the monthly salary again.
The monthly salary again.
Greater than 50,000.
Greater than 50,000.
Comma.
Comma.
Then the 13,000 in the bonus scheme.
Okay, 13,000 in the bonus scheme. So we can just come in and click.
Okay, then the monthly salary again.
Monthly salary again.
Less than or equal to 79.
Less than or equal to 5,000.
7999.
4999.
No, the 7999.
Sorry.
I don't put it down.
79999. Okay.
And then I put a dollar sign between the cells I selected.
Put a dollar sign between the cells you selected. So for instance, 20,000, 13,000, and then instead of typing the numbers, you decided to just select them, right? And then you put okay, let's finish with the formula and then let's put it there. So 7999, and then what else?
Comma, and I selected the 13,000 again.
13,000 again. Okay.
Then comma. The monthly salary.
Monthly salary.
Less than or equal to the 499.
Or equal to 49999.
Then comma.
Then comma.
Then the 5,000 in the
Then 5,000. Okay. Now with this one, we can just close it one. Realize that immediately I closed it, it turned into a black bracket. So immediately it turns to a black bracket. That should tell us that we are done with the function. Please, let's have 5 minutes more and then we can leave. I know we are far behind time. So let me press enter at this point.
Yeah, I noticed that since you didn't add the the dollar sign, you just
the dollar sign
clicks and continue clicking.
So the dollar sign in Excel is very, very important. So we can use the F4 to bring the dollar signs instead of typing them manually. F4, 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 and then F4. And then the magic applies to it. I know there'll be a lot of questions about this dollar sign. We will talk about it. We will talk about it later. Our time is fast spent. So this is another way of arriving at the same solution. and then both of them will be made available to you on a Google Classroom platform. You can download them and take your time and go through them, and then see. Yes, Charles.
Sir, please, can you show the second formula as well?
So the second formula, I'm sorry. The second formula is shown here. So ifs. So ifs function is telling you that you are coming to use an if function, but they are not just one. You are using more. So instead of if, you are using ifs, plural. So that is another way of arriving at the solution. Thank you very much,
sir,
Moses.
Sir, please, so if we delete the x, this function won't work.
If you delete the s at the end, it won't work.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Hello,
so
sir.
this is ifs function. So we have some, and then we have some ifs. You are doing a summation based on conditions. Okay, so I think because time is up, let's discuss this. So we have two options. One, we are going on our break and we'll resume somewhere in January. I think the information will be relayed to us on the Google Classroom portal. Now we have two options now. We haven't treated, I think there are some basic topics we need to understand. Something like cell referencing. That is where the dollar signs comes in. When do we apply the dollar sign? And then in what situation do we ignore them? So they are very important. We haven't talked about slices, which I think is even for that one, you can even do away with it. We haven't talked about basic maths operations, sum, average. I think we talked about that at one of our classes, but we haven't gone a little bit into details like using the sum ifs, average ifs, and those things. Those are basic maths operations with conditions. So you're doing a summation based on conditions. I'm summing the number of students in a class who are above age 30. Like I'm summing the total salary of people in employees in BGS group who are above age 30. So you are doing a summation based on a particular condition. So that's in that case, you have to make use of the sum if, but if there are more conditions, you make use of the sum ifs. So we haven't talked about those things. We haven't talked about pivot tables. We haven't talked about. So there are a lot of basic stuffs we haven't talked about. Also, we can create or work on a project where the project is going to include what we have learned so far. So the project will be about a real-time question where we go through together and then solve them together. That is what I mean by project. So these are the two options. Do you guys think we should move ahead with what we haven't learned, or we should come out with a project and solve them together? We are going to talk about this in the next 2 minutes and then we are done. What do you think? Should we work on a project, or do you think we should go ahead with topics we haven't treated, basic topics we haven't treated? Yes, Solomon.
I think we should move ahead.
You think we should move ahead?
Because it's easier learning with best grade services than when you go on YouTube to to learn it all by yourself. So I think
Okay, so you think we should move ahead? So Divine is also saying we should. Divine, let's hear you.
Moving ahead is a good idea, but I think this type of Excel things, the more you practice, the more you become excellent in it. And if your foundation be destroyed, what can you do? So I think we should take the project. The project will help us to do what we've already learned, because I know it will comprise of a lot of things that we've previously learned. So the project will give us more insight, and it will enlighten us to know when and how to use what we've already learned. By moving ahead, you know what you have to know, and if you stop using them, then you become rusty. You won't be able to use them efficiently. So I think if we do a project, it will help us to yes, it will enlighten us more. Yes, I think.
Okay, I think Divine also has a point about we working on a project.
Hello, sir.
Letitia, final person to speak. Letitia.
Can't we just do a vote?
So I agree with
Letitia, please let's hear you.
Hello, sir, please. I was saying I second Solomon.
Okay, that we should go ahead.
And yes, please, we can go ahead then. Though most of us, or maybe some of us are students, if we reopen school, I think Saturdays, as we always have the class and things, we don't have classes on Saturdays. We hardly do that, so we can still meet. Go ahead then. After we are done with everything, we'll have the project on everything.
Wow, you want us to meet on Saturdays as well? Wow. Okay.
Sir.
Yeah, Charles.
hello, sir.
Sir, please, with the moving ahead, I also support that. But some of us too are distance students, so we have lectures on Saturday. So that one too. Once we once school resumes, yeah, that one to be under challenge. But I support the fact that we should move ahead, and probably the projects will be our last. When maybe you can give us the project, and that will be the last. And so
okay,
I think
so someone Alos also asks on the page. Sir, please, those calling me sir, I beg you. The name is Emmanuel, so I beg. The sir is making me feel very uncomfortable. Okay, so if we are working on a project, what time are we going to come together on the project? Okay, so the project is not going to be an assignment necessarily. We are going to have a case study where we are going to work on. You understand? So it's going to be like the assignment we just did, that is going to ask us to do certain things. So we are going to work on the case study based on what we have learned so far and a little bit of probably what we haven't done. And as is it Charles or someone said, we are going to talk about. We are going to work on, because we are going to work on a project, there are one or two things that we haven't talked about that we are going to talk about in the project, because the project has necessitated it. I hope you understand. So working on a project will also bring out some new things. Working or going ahead is also going to bring us to a lot of new things. So what I'm going to do right now is we are going to have a poll on the WhatsApp platform. So you can just vote, and at the end of tomorrow, we are going to finalize on what to do based on the number of votes we have on the platform. Please, I hope that is fair enough, because I want us to, even though this is a free class and it is a foundation class, I want us to be really, really, really into this Excel thing, because I also developed this passion for Excel from a free class. So I'm trying to, as much as possible, for people also to engage themselves in it, and then to also benefit from this free class. Because there's going to subsequent class that is not going to be free. Yes. I think our Hall of Famers are going to get some little bit of discounts when it comes to those classes. And those classes are going to be intermediate to high level Excel training. In fact, there are a lot of things that we are not going to talk about in a foundation level, that when you get to the intermediate level, you are going to be wowed. You are going to be amazed at some of the things Excel can do. Yes, automation in Excel is very, very possible. And there are a lot of things you can do. So that will be in the intermediate to the high level Excel. And then we'll also talk about Power Query. It's also in Excel. You can do a whole lot of stuff, especially when it comes to data cleaning. So yes, that will be in the intermediate and then the high level Excel. So the poll will be on the platform latest by the close of today. And then it will depend on us whether we should move ahead or we should just work on a project to better the skill of what we have learned so far. Finally, the assignment will also be marked. You are trying as much as possible to go through them one after the other. It is not an easy task. It takes a lot of time, but you will surely get your grades. And I try as much as possible to add a little bit of comments to your assignment so that you know where you fell short and then you know where to work on. So you definitely get your assignment or the results for your assignment. So is there any other question at this point? As our time is, we are 20 minutes past time. Any question?
When you're having the advanced class?
Okay, so the team is going to decide on Excel intermediates, when to start the Excel intermediate and the advanced class. And I think you'll be communicated to because you're on the platform. So Princess Aram said those who get F will still graduate, right? All right. We will decide on that. We will decide on that. But please, the most important thing is you are getting acquainted, or you are making your hands dirty. Try as much as possible to work on whatever we've learned, because when you go to the work field, it will surprise you the kind of stuff you're going to meet out there. And these are some of the things that are going to make you productive. So please, let's take it serious. Habiba, let's hear you.
Please, does it mean that we have to take the advanced class before we get a certificate?
No. Actually, the certificate you are going to get from Best Grade Service is, should I say, it is not worldwide known. We are just trying to let others know that, yes, you are truly equipped with Microsoft Excel skills. You know, people will write proficient in Microsoft Excel on their CVs. And when you ask them about Excel tables, they'll be like, which one to use that one? When you ask them about filters, they'll look at your face, removing duplicates. So these are the basic stuff. You understand? So these things will make your employer or give the employee or employer a necessary or a base idea that, yes, this guy knows his stuff. It's not just on his or her CV. You understand? But if you want to master Excel, we can take you through the various trainings you need. And there are certified courses from Microsoft that you can write. Like you're writing an ACC or ICA. You can write a Microsoft certified course and be certified by Microsoft itself. And there, you know that, yes, you have reached. You understand? So we are going to help you with the certificates to make sure that anyone you are any employment opportunity you are trying to grab, you are going to get an advantage over those who do not have, because the certificate is going to show that, yes, you have idea about these things. Yes. Even in Microsoft Word, I tell you, there are a lot of stuff in Microsoft Word, and Microsoft Word is getting more and more difficult than Excel, if you ask, in my opinion. Yes. But we'll get there. We'll get there small. Yes. So that is that about the certificates. Please, any other question, Habiba? Or you are fine?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, but
I don't provide the IFS formula that I used. I realized that the salaries that are less or equal to 49,999 had 30% as bonus and not 5,000. But I checked my formula and I realized that everything is correct.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, I think because of our time, let's meet backstage and let's work on that. Matthias Kwame Anderson, please message me and let's see how best you are going to get your airtime and the various packages we promised. So congratulations once again, Matthias, and Merry Christmas in advance from Best Grade Services. At least if you are chewing your chicken, please remember us, and then you can also send us some so that we can also enjoy. So Merry Christmas in advance from Best Grade Services and the team. We wish you a very good festive season. And then we hope that when we resume class, you are not going to forget whatever we've learned so far because of the chicken you went to chew. So at this point, in the absence of any other question, we will say a big goodbye for now. Our next class is going to be somewhere in January. Please don't throw all these things away. One thing about Excel is you need to practice to better yourself. So don't just throw them away. I think time is fast spent. So Albert, please try and say to me. Yes, Charles.
I want to say thank you very much. Since we started this class, I've been able to prepare my where I work. I've been able to prepare a petty cash book with what the knowledge I've gotten from this essay class. So thank you very much.
Fantastic. So it is going to help. That's why it's Excel for productivity. It is going to help you to be more productive. So I think most of us are actually not in the work field, so we don't really see the importance of this. So Charles has spoken to us about it, and it's really going to help us a lot. So yes, thank you very much, everyone.
In fact, I started from scratch. I didn't use a template.
Well, you see, so that is one of the good things about knowing or getting around Excel. It's really going to help you a lot. It's really going to help you. Somebody said, will there be assignments next week? Thank you very much to the teams. We are really grateful. Do you guys need assignments? Because even with this one, I realized almost half of the class didn't submit the assignments. I was really heartbroken when I saw that. Almost half of the class weren't able to submit the assignments. And for now, I think you guys need to enjoy the Christmas. And when you come back, we are making our hands dirty. So don't worry. Just enjoy the Christmas. Ronald said, don't be emotional. Please, I won't be emotional. So at this point, as I said earlier, Merry Christmas in advance, and probably a Happy New Year from Best Beat Services and the team. So in the absence of any other question, it's a goodbye. If you need any help, if you need any clarification, you can message me and we'll see how best we can do that. So thank you very much once again and have a lovely holiday. Bye.
You too, bye.
Bye. Thank you, you too.
How do I end this?